Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. Today is a quick tip. I was thinking about my grandma. My daughter just had a baby. Her middle name of her daughter is my mother's first name. My daughter's first name is my grandmother's first name, which she didn't use in its entirety. It had me thinking about my grandmother. And I want to share a story that I share about my grandmother all the time with people when I am screening them as a matchmaker and sometimes as a dating coach. It's my little grandma spiel where I bring her up in the conversation. That's what's on the agenda. Let me grab a little bit more coffee. I'll fill you in. If that's interesting to you, stick around. That's what we're going to talk about. When people tell me that they need a specific age person to date, that their parameters for who they're interested in meeting is very small, or 3 to 5 years less than their age, and they won't go older, or they say, hey, you know what, everybody tells me I'm super young for my age, so I definitely need somebody younger than me who can keep up and wants to do the same things I want to do, I will very often have to point out the grandma story, which is my grandmother was fantastic. She and I were very good friends and we spoke every day. But for a very long time, she was an old woman, at least to me. No, she was an old woman. She lived to the ripe age of 81 years old, and she lived a very sedentary life with her friends. They'd go out for lunch or they would go bowling, and she did a little traveling. She did things. I don't want to portray my grandmother as sitting like a lump on her sofa and knitting, but she did do that most evenings. I like to point out to clients, though, that was my grandmother. She passed away in 2001, many years ago. On the other side is my mother, who you all know. You see her at the end of my episodes. She's the one giving the thumbs up. You know her for her thumbs and her adorableness. But mom is 83 years old, and mom is super active. Up until recently, mom was out there ice skating. She fell and hit her head not too long ago. Somebody said to her, should I get you some ice? She said, I'm lying on ice. So still had her wits about her as she wiped out on the ice doing some crazy spins she was trying out that she'd seen somewhere. Olympics, I don't know. But we are aging differently is the point. Between nutrition and medical interventions and discoveries, better access to medicine and diet, the way we take care of ourselves now, 80 looked very different between my mom and my grandmother. And that is meant to illustrate to my clients that age is a number. And what you may be describing, thinking that you look super young for 55, is because you look way super young compared to your parents at 55 or your grandparents at 55. But many, many people are aging very differently now. I would never be so presumptuous as to say I look great for my age or people think I'm way younger than my years. I hear everybody say it, but I personally would find it a little embarrassing because I've seen a lot of people older than me who look fantastic and way better than me and younger than me, which still proves my point. People cannot be judged by the number of years they've been on the planet. They need to be judged for how they're taking care of themselves, the activities they're still enjoying, how active they are, how they eat, whether they're exercising, whether they're doing the things and the activities that would fit well with what you're choosing to do with your time, the things you enjoy. If your lifestyles mesh and your interests mesh, what does that number have to do with anything? Just because you're aging well doesn't mean there aren't a bunch of other people who are doing the same. So if you're 55 and you say, hey, I could never date somebody 60 because I'm super young for 55, know that I could show you a 65-year-old who could do circles around you, who's taking even better care of themselves than you are. I definitely have those people who are way up there in years, in their 70s, and doing all kinds of adrenaline type daredevil stuff and are in super great fit shape and look years younger than you would think somebody over 70 might appear. So keep an open mind. Don't put up any walls that you don't need to. I love sharing remembrances of my grandmother, and I'm so grateful I have my mother with me here every day. And the woman is 83, and she can spend 5 hours out in the garden, sweating her little tush off, breaking these big branches to make sure they go in the brown bag and can be picked up by the garbage service the next day. I mean, I leave mine for the landscaping guys and say, let them do the hard work. Mom's out there working. She's still climbing ladders and painting and washing windows at 83, and she's perfectly capable of doing all that. So don't put my mama in a box, and don't do that with somebody who you might meet who is your same age or a little bit older. Have an open mind. Take it on a person-by-person basis, case by case, right? I think that'll be helpful to you. If you found this interesting, enlightening, or just fun to hear about my grandmother and my mom, give the episode, oh, there she is. Give the episode a thumbs up, and I'll look forward to seeing you back again sometime soon. So subscribe, and until next time, have a good one.